Mr. Chairman. Again, welcome, Ms. Rollins. As we both noted, the chairman and I, this committee has worked together, and all the members know this, on a bipartisan way to pass farm bills in the past, improve the farm safety net, stand up for conservation, nutrition, food security. Will you be a force for working with both sides of the aisle?
Thank you so much, Senator Klobuchar, for that question. And it is exceedingly important to me that we deliver for American farmers and ranchers, exceedingly. And I have already begun to lose some sleep over how to make that happen in a way that is productive in supporting your work. And I have a long history of working in a bipartisan manner. It may not be at the forefront of my bio or my resume, but I worked with many of you in the last administration on the First Step Act, which I believe was perhaps the hallmark of President Trump 1.0 in bipartisan work together. I sat in an office for many hours with Senator Durbin, Senator Grassley, Senator Booker, Senator Scott, and many others from both sides as we hammered out how to solve the criminal justice challenges that our Bureau of Prisons is facing. And I hope to bring that same skill set and perhaps knowledge base and relationships to this effort as well.
Thank you. I appreciated you mentioned animal disease as one of your lead priorities, as well as the disaster economic assistance. As you know, and you and I discussed this, since 2022, the most recent outbreak of avian flu has devastated poultry producers, spread to dairy cattle, resulted in at least one death. But we're starting to see increases in certain prices attributed to that. If confirmed, how will you ensure that farmers have the resources they need to combat the spread of this virus? What is your plan?
There is no doubt that what the community in whom we all work for, that community, not just America, but the entire world relies on for an abundant, safe, and secure food supply. And just learning of the devastation in Georgia just over the last few weeks with the poultry outbreak and the depopulation there of our poultry. Of course, to your point about dairy, it's been infecting some of the dairy herds, I believe, across 16 states. There is a lot that I have to learn on this, and if confirmed, this will be, as I mentioned in my opening statement, one of the very top priorities. We are hyper-focused on finding the team right now. I'm sure they're already working. I have obviously respected the process and not gotten too involved. But I know that the current team and the future team will be working hand in hand to do everything we can on animal disease. And Senator, if I may add one more thing, my deep background working in state policy included working very closely with governors' offices and ag commissioners across this great country. In fact, in the last White House, I sort of took it upon myself, which is where I met a few of our governors who are now here, to work closely and in concert and aligned with both Republican and Democrat leaders from the states.
I really appreciate that. We have 7 minutes, so I'm going to go a little quicker here.
Yes, ma'am.
I will note that just yesterday, the administration announced they will halt external public health communications from the CDC on these avian flu animal diseases. And these important announcements have helped keep producers up to date with the latest information on disease spread, health of workers. And while I know that wasn't under the USDA, I just urge you to talk to them about that. We're concerned. Biofuels, and I appreciated our discussion on that. While you served as the CEO of the Texas Public Policy Foundation, your organization was often critical on biofuels, including ethanol. And as you know, we have worked really hard to make this so we don't just have one fuel, that we have options here, including with Senator Ernst and Senator Fisher and Senator Grassley, Senator Thune, many others. What role do you believe biofuels play in our domestic energy production how will you continue to promote the production of these fuels as Secretary?
Thank you, and I appreciate you bringing that up. It's my understanding that those reports were written over a decade ago. I haven't seen anything more recent. Texas Public Policy Foundation puts out almost 900 to 1,000 pieces of content a year. I did not author that specific piece, but to be clear, there's no doubt, coming from Texas, I was a massive defender of fossil fuels and the importance of fossil fuels in the energy independence and energy dominance narrative. Clearly, I've spoken with so many of you on both sides of the aisle on this issue. I will be a secretary for all agriculture. It is really important to me that we continue to defend and elevate and honor all sources of fuel. My former boss and current boss in his current energy dominance plan included biofuels as an important piece of his agenda. So I really look forward to continuing that.
And I know your family, based on the forms, I appreciate you getting us those forms, that your family has significant financial interest in the oil industry. Will these interests motivate decisions you make at the department, especially when they impact your family's financial holdings?
Senator, I can promise you this, and I know you and I have met a few times through the years. I've had more in-depth discussions, but not as many as I would like, hopefully a lot more in the future. But I can promise you this, anyone that has ever worked with me will tell you, even to the detriment of organizations I have run, detriment financially to my potential family, that I have never, not ever made a decision based on financial interest, ever. And that certainly will not begin now.
Thank you. You discussed briefly with Senator Bozeman the export markets. I also appreciated you mentioned that in your long-term focus on exports. And as you know, during the first Trump administration, we heard resounding calls from farmers that they want trade, not aid. Those are exact words I'm remembering. They want to grow their market and not just get government payment. We've worked hard on this committee to help farmers build markets here and abroad. Senator Hoeven and I have set up a rural export center, in fact. And Ms. Rollins, how would you work with President Trump, the Office of the U.S. Trade Rep, and others within the administration to ensure that they understand the effects of potential retaliatory tariffs on American farmers? And how will you help them manage this risk? And beyond just getting extra payments to make up for it, will you be a voice to make sure people understand the importance of exports for rural America? And it's not just farming, it's also manufacturing and the like.
No, that's correct. I believe, extraordinary value that I potentially bring to this table is having served in the last White House for 3 years, right alongside President Trump. I believe I may be the most well-versed in how the interagency process works, of all the cabinet, of how the interagency process works, of how the discussions are handled, of what the Oval Office meetings look like, and how to ensure that at every corner that my team, that our community, that what we all represent together is at the table fighting for what we believe is necessary for these communities.
Okay, thank you. And I have some important questions for the second round here on conservation and nutrition, and I know my colleagues will be asking them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.